This episode of The Offensive Line is in partnership with Airbnb. As someone who does a lot of solo travel, comfort is always a top priority. That's why I find that some trips are just better suited for the Airbnb experience. All right, let's dive back in. You might want to reach out to Mike McCarthy, because after he gets fired, he'll be golfing a lot.
Out of the three teams that I played with, they are the most surprising to me.
Do these guys not remember Tyson Bagent? He is not good.
This is not a rivalry no more. Aaron Rodgers killed that like almost 6 years ago.
And it wasn't just by chance. And this was a calculated thing, so the Chiefs are just not using black magic to win.
I think they're honestly getting ready for Cancun.
He might have 3 MVPs before 3 playoff wins.
It is tough to go against my homeboy, so I gotta go with Patty.
They are in full rebuild mode, not their stadium, but the team itself. Yeah.
There's no guarantee that you're gonna be on the Chicago Bears next year.
From Wondery, I'm Annie Agar, and this is The Offensive Line. Welcome to The Offensive Line, you guys. We're here to make some picks, talk some shit, and hopefully make you some money. I'm Annie Agar, here with our guest today on the golf course himself, 3-time All-Pro, member of 2010's All-Decade Team, and co-host of First and Pod, Patrick Peterson. Patrick, how you doing today?
How you doing, Annie? I'm so happy to finally be on the pod with you.
It's been a minute. It has been a minute. It's been a long time coming.
No doubt about it. Now we're finally here.
You have to tell the people how your golf game is, because obviously you're on a golf course and you're taking time to do this, which is amazing.
Yeah, so I just got done, beating a couple of my buddies, up just a couple grand right now. So
Love it.
I'm gonna give them an opportunity to get it back. We're gonna go over to the par 3 course after I'm done with with this interview with you to try to fatten my pockets up a little bit more.
I'm glad you have your priorities straight. That's what we try to do for the people on the podcast too. Sometimes it works, sometimes my bets don't quite hit. Is there a Gold Links golf club that you have too? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, Gold Links Golf Club is like a social community that we're building. It's like 7 other of my buddies. We have merchandise. We actually just dropped a skit 3 minutes ago. So if you go on Gold Links,
breaking news.
Go on Gold Links, at Gold Links social media, I just collaborated with the video so you can check it out. But what we're basically trying to do is just put together a community of people who love golf, people who love traveling, people who love insight on how golf trips are handled, how it is in the life of gambling on the golf course, the shit talk, the camaraderie.
I love it. That's exactly what golf is for. You might want to reach out to Mike McCarthy, because after he gets fired, he'll be golfing a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with, we like to start the show with something called Too Offensive. These are 3 topics that are too offensive for me to even talk about, for us to even talk about. So I mention them for like 10 seconds and then toss them away into the vault of NFL history. The first one, I'm sorry, Germany. That was an atrocious game. Panthers-Giants, they had to watch Daniel Jones. Drake May is somehow maybe better than Caleb Williams now. J.J. McCarthy is better than Caleb Williams, and he hasn't played a down of NFL football. And lastly, Derrick Henry's ass was all over our TV screens. Not as much ass as the pass defense the Ravens put out every Sunday. So now that those topics are off the table, we can actually get into some real football, starting with all 3 of your former teams, Patrick, won this past weekend: the Cardinals, Vikings, and Steelers. Out of those 3, who is the most impressive to you?
The most impressive, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Just because, the history of Pittsburgh, we all know where they're going to be. We know they're going to be in the playoffs. We know that they're a well-coached football team. But the Cardinals are surprising a lot of people right now. Kyler Murray is playing out of his mind. The defense haven't given up a touchdown in the last 3 home games, which is unbelievable. Haven't been done since 1920-something. And just the way, because no one really had no high expectations on the Cardinals. The Steelers either, but the Steelers' history trumps what the Cardinals' history is. I'm more impressed with the Arizona Cardinals right now. They are in the league in the NFC West. A lot of people was picking them to be maybe 3rd. And now they have the lead. Kyler Murray is playing, like I said, unbelievable football right now. Defense is playing lights out. Let's just see if they can keep it going right now. But thus far, this is the most, out of the 3 teams that I played with, they are the most surprising to me.
Yeah, they're, like we said, the whole Mike Tomlin, you knew they were at least going to be contenders, gonna have 9 wins, that 9-win season. But Cardinals are 6-4 going into the bye. In your opinion, then, was Marvin Harrison Jr. the right draft pick for the Cardinals?
Yes, it was the right draft pick because Kyler needs weapons. He needs guys that he can throw the ball to. You just got rid of DeAndre Hopkins I think they got rid of him to go to Tennessee. You didn't have any real pass catcher because Brown was gone as well. He was traded off to the Kansas City Chiefs. So you had to go get someone that can be a pass catcher for your quarterback, and I believe that was the right draft pick for the Arizona Cardinals.
It's a tight division right now. It's an interesting division. I don't focus too much on the NFC West just because somebody usually runs away with it. But after the Rams, I don't know. I thought the Rams are going to be a lot higher contender than they are. Let's start with this. Patrick, do you cook? Do you like to cook?
I love cooking.
Perfect.
Love
okay,
cooking.
So you know the power of a good recipe. We're going to do a little winning recipe here. So if you had a winning recipe for the NFC West, whoever would win the NFC West, I want to know what that winning recipe would be. Starting with your Cardinals, what is the winning recipe for Arizona to win the NFC West?
To continue to play outstanding defense, which they have been, and Kyler Murray has to play outstanding. Mm-hmm. That is the winning recipe for them because we all know if he's not able to play at least exceptional, it's going to be a tough day for the Arizona Cardinals. So he needs to play well in each and every game in order for them to have a chance of winning.
San Francisco 49ers, winning recipe.
They need their squad healthy. Because
I was gonna say, literally don't get hurt anymore.
We just know how they are when their team is fully assembled. So getting their stars back in the lineup.
All right, what about the Rams?
Man, you know about the Rams, I love how young and feisty their team is, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You know, this is their first year that they had opportunity, first 2 seasons that they had opportunity to go get some first-round talent. And those first-round talents are paying off thus far. And on the offensive side of the ball, I like what they do on the offensive side of the ball. I just think they got behind the game last week in order to give them an opportunity to win against the Miami Dolphins last night. But for the most part, I like what the Rams have because they are a well-coached team. Their offense, no matter who is in their lineup, that they're going to present problems. The winning recipe for the Rams will be not starting slow as they have been the last couple weeks. And they got to get that running game going too.
Yeah.
I believe they have to get the running game going because Sean McVay offense predicates off play action, move in the pocket, and things like that. So if they're able to get that running game going, I think they'll be in a much better position than they are.
That was so unlike him, I felt like, that game. To not score a touchdown for the Rams, it's just uncharacteristic of Sean McVay. To kick a field goal on 3rd down. I don't know what was going on in that game. But, okay, lastly, the Seattle Seahawks. What is their winning recipe? This is going to have to be a good recipe because they're pretty low on the list.
Yeah, they're pretty low on the list just because they can't finish out games. Defense keep getting hit with big plays. Offense can't protect Geno Smith right now. So the winning recipe for the Seattle Seahawks is protect Geno Smith better and limit the big plays in the back end because that defense is way too good to be giving up the plays that they're giving up. Limit the big plays, protect Geno Smith a little bit better, and and also finishing out games.
Now that we have these recipes, we have to make a pick, obviously. So I'll tell you the lines for this. Who is going to win the NFC West? We're starting with the Cardinals are plus 115. San Francisco's plus 135. The Rams are plus 700 and Seattle's plus 1,300. Who is your pick to win this division?
My pick to win the division, now that the San Francisco 49ers are getting healthy, I know I am an Arizona Cardinal, been spent there 10 years, but it's hard to go against teams that have been there before.
Yes.
Exactly. And that have been in those moments before. And we all know that San Francisco 49ers have a history of starting slow, and they find a way in the second half of the season to get the ball rolling. So if I had to bet, I would put my money on the San Francisco 49ers.
I like it. I think I'm going to take them too. If Kyle Shanahan doesn't act like a 6-year-old playing Madden with his game management, then I will take the San Francisco 49ers as well. All right, we're starting off good today, guys. We're agreeing. I'm agreeing with Patrick. That seems like a good bet for me. Now we're going to do a little building here, Patrick. So when you were in your prime, there was a clear top tier of corners. It was you, Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, a couple other guys who'd go in and out of the debate. But today, we're going to create our own debate by building our own cornerback. First of all, though, do you feel like the star power of the cornerback position is a little different than it was in like the 2010s?
I think it is. You still have the names, but the guys are not doing what we did on a consistent basis week in and week out. Like, guys really don't understand how hard that is. Like, I just wasn't doing that for 3 years. I did that for the majority of my career, 11 years. Following the number one receiver, moving from left to right, going in the slot, attracting those matchups, so it's in the offenses have changed a little bit. So it's a little bit more difficult to do that. But at the same time, I believe you won't see those like quote unquote shut down corners that's given that title anymore, in my opinion, because guys are not going out and guarding these top receivers 85% of the game.
Do you have a best corner in the league right now?
I have two who I really, really love to watch is Pat Surtain and Derek Stingley. Just because they remind me of myself.
I love
just because they remind me of myself. They love to be at the line of scrimmage. They have very, very wasted movements when they are in press technique. And those guys are ball hawks. Like, you just don't see, you don't hear cornerbacks play the ball like receivers.
Yeah.
When you see those two guys play the ball, they're playing like the quarterback is throwing the ball to them. And that's very rare. And like I said, that just reminded me of myself when I was, had an opportunity to do it, because like I always thought I was a receiver too. If the ball is coming to my guy, hell, I'm the receiver as well. So I'm trying to take this ball away from you. So
I love it. I love it. Okay, let's try to build someone maybe that replicates yourself, the best cornerback of all time. We're going to do this the traditional way. We're using qualities that really matter. There are a couple traits here that would make a good cornerback, but also the important ones. So first of all, let's start with speed. If you could pick and choose a fellow cornerback or maybe even yourself, whose speed would you take in that discussion to make the best cornerback? We'll build it up. So it'll be like speed, tackling, hands. We'll go down the list, but starting with speed.
I'm going to go Dale Green on the speed. Because I know I'm going to have to put Prime in there somehow, some way.
Tackling. Whose tackling would you take?
Jalen Ramsey.
Ah, that's a good one. I was going to say like Charles Woodson, because that's my boy.
Yeah, Charles Woodson was a good tackle too, and that's my guy as well.
Hands. Whose hands?
Hands. Mine.
I love it. You had to pick yourself at some point.
Annie, I don't know many cornerbacks that have like legit one-hand interception.
That's very true.
Maybe 4.
That's very true. Yeah.
But yeah, I have a bunch of them.
Who had the best trash talking, or who would create the best trash talking?
That I will go with Deion Sanders.
He's still doing it. To this day.
Exactly. Deion is the best salesman ever. Like, he's going to sell himself. He's going to sell his kids. He's going to sell the product, but he also backs it up as well. So that's the beauty of it.
All right. What about interception return?
Damn, I took Deion out too soon. But I'm going to go with Aqib Talib, just because I think he has the most of pick sixes, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And last one, most emphatic incomplete signaler. Like, who would call an incomplete pass like he had a big part of the play when the ball was like 10 yards over the receiver's head? I'll give you one. I'll give you 2, actually. I'm going to say either Cam Taylor-Britt or Eli Apple.
It's funny you say that, because Eli Apple was the first name that came to my head.
I love it.
Eli Apple was definitely the first name that came to my head, but I was trying to think of somebody else.
I love it. Hey, we're going for best cornerback here. That might be the best. We may have built the best. That's amazing. If we can't get you, of course, this is the second best cornerback. Right. All right, guys, when we come back, we're going to go over some game picks, so stay right here on the offensive line. As someone who travels a lot on my own, reliability is always important for me when booking a place to stay. That's why I love Airbnb. Airbnb makes it super easy to see all the guest feedback in one place. If you see that a property is a guest favorite, you know it has rave reviews and is a tried and true place to stay. That's a great place to start if you're looking to book your next Airbnb. I really do love the homey feeling of an Airbnb. I can be myself when I need to focus on editing or work, and then I also have the whole place to myself when I need to unwind. It makes all the difference whether you're traveling solo or with family and friends. Plus, sometimes I'm able to meet the hosts in person, which is so nice to finally put a face to the name. It's nice to know I'm staying in a home that someone really loves and cares about. For example, when I was in California staying in an Airbnb for the big game, I met the host. She welcomed me into her home and made me a drink, and we sat and talked like we were friends. Having that kind of familiarity with a place before you just move in is so nice, and that's why I love Airbnb. All right, guys, the NFL season is rolling along, and the contenders are separating from the pack. The one thing that hasn't changed, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and the best place to bet touchdowns. We don't care how they get them, we just want to bet on them, and DraftKings Sportsbook is the place to do it. So score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TOL. That's code TOL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
All right, Patrick, the Packers were on a bye this week, and if you know, that's my team. So I finally got a chance to have a stress-free Sunday, or so I thought. Take a look. Sunday afternoon, and my team is on a bye. I can get so much done today. It's going to be a great day. Yeah, I was just calling to see you want to get brunch, or maybe we can just have some mimosas, because, just a chill Sunday. Oh, your team plays today. Oh, well, that must suck. Yeah, well, enjoy the game. I'm just going to be hanging here, just chilling. Pre-game show's always been this long? Hey, Alexa, look up good Sunday recipes. This is so enjoyable. I am getting so much done. This is the best. 7 hours of commercial-free football, no stress. All afternoon. Just me and teams I don't care about. Still not stressed. No stress. I just want to get comfier. This is what I usually wear, so I don't care or anything. Oh, we call that same play. Oh, Xavier McKinney would have had that. He would have picked that off. He would have picked that off. No, yeah, I'm so relaxed right now. I'm having the best time. Is it week 11 yet? Buys are just not the same. I look forward to the bye week because then I don't have to stress about my team. And then we get into the first couple games and I'm like, okay, this sucks. Where's my team? I don't have anything to cheer for. My bets, my parlays are all dead the first leg. It's just a rough Sunday. So let's talk about the Packers because they are back this weekend. The Packers are coming off their bye, which they desperately needed, especially Jordan Love. And the Bears are a 6-point home underdog. Chicago sucks, Patrick. Chicago is the worst. Oh my God. They just fired Shane Waldron, which I don't even know if that's going to do anything. And now there's reports, I just saw it before we came on the podcast, that the players, some veteran players, are asking for Caleb to be benched. I don't know if it's the case of safety reasons or he's not learning. So why put him through this every Sunday? Can you, first of all, as a former player, what are your thoughts on that? How much should we buy into that report that players are asking for him to be benched?
You don't buy into that at all. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to win games. At least when I was in a locker room.
Yeah.
Regardless what the circumstances are, regardless what the situation is, it's a livelihood because you still have to put on good tape for 31 other teams.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that you're going to be on the Chicago Bears next year. Why would you go out and put out or want the quarterback to be benched, which is the best option for this team to be benched? I'm not buying that at all. Yeah. And why? And at the end of the day, why would you want him to be benched anyway? Just because you fired the OC?
Do these guys not remember Tyson Bagent? He is not good. Okay, it's like the lesser of two evils. He's the no regrets kid from We're the Millers. Okay, he's not good. He's not talented. Caleb probably gives you the best chance to win if there's any chance to win. So with Waldron out, the blame is falling on Eberflus a lot. I don't know how this man still has a job. He's fired 2 offensive coordinators now. And it comes down to him. But in terms of Caleb, who's to blame for this whole situation? Do we think it's more on Caleb? Is it on the coaching? Is it on the O-line? In your opinion, what's going on in Chicago?
It's more of the coaching, in my opinion. You know what you saw from this guy in college. You know how you wanted him to be, or at least implement him in your offense. And the way that you was doing it wasn't working. So therefore, as a coach, if your style is not working for the player, you have to adapt to the player. And I feel like that's where they felt Caleb and the coaching staff felt him miserably, because they want to continue to do it their way, but not doing things that he's most comfortable with. Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to win. Because look at their offense. If they're doing something totally different, he's holding the ball much longer than it needs to be when he's drop back passing. Like, let's give him some more rhythm throws. Let's stop making the drop backs 5 steps, 7-step drop backs. I feel like they failed him by not trying to get him in a rhythm and also doing what he's most comfortable with.
Teddy Bruschi said on one of the show that he's on, the pregame show, he said that it's like they're calling plays off a menu. Like, there's no sequence to anything. They're just picking good plays that have worked in the past, not setting anything up. And we can call it. Like, Shane Waldron, it was going to be a run up the middle for no gain, for first down. Second down, probably a sack. Third down, a screen to DJ Moore, like they do every freaking third down, and then punt. Everybody in the stadium knew what he was doing. It was atrocious. So whether or not him being gone is going to help, I don't know. On the flip side of that, Jair Alexander is back this weekend for the Green Bay Packers. So we believe. That's what reports are saying. I think this defense is going to absolutely feast on Caleb or Tyson, whoever's playing. What are your thoughts on the Green Bay Packers defense, and in particular this against the Chicago Bears offense?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I believe they're going to feast on Caleb Williams if he still is in the starting lineup. I don't know why he wouldn't be in the starting lineup. He's healthy. He played 10 weeks this far. You got 7 more weeks to go. So you want to continue to give him as much experience as you can. And who the hell he's going to learn from?
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm sorry to go back to the question that we just. Yeah, I'm sorry to go back to the question that we just answered. It's because they kill
quarterbacks over there, Patriot. Okay.
Yeah, so just leave them in the game and get them as much experience as possible, exposure as possible. But back to the Green Bay Packers defense. I love what they've been doing. They gotten better over the course of the year. You know, I know they started out a little shaky, maybe the first 3 weeks of the season, but as the season progressed, they continue to get better as far as stopping the run, creating turnovers. I just love Jair Alexander, just his antics, just how he's able to get up under people's skin so easily, and it just makes me smile each and every time, because I wasn't the guy that did that because I felt like it wasted energy on my behalf.
Yeah.
But to see a guy able to do that week in and week out, and not only back it up, but still have the energy to play 65 snaps.
Yeah.
I remember watching this guy when they was playing the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs, it was an incomplete pass on the sideline. Jair came from the opposite sideline, ran all the way over there just to get in the truffle. You know, so I'm like, this guy, he is like really on his mind. And not only that, like, he is in really, really tip-top shape to be able to not only run behind these receivers for 60 minutes, talk trash to him for 60 minutes, and still have the ability to go out there and make plays. So I love what Jair brings to the table, man. I'm a huge fan of his. He is the originator of the strap.
Yeah.
So I love everything about Jair.
From your personal experience as a former player, did rivalries diminish when one team was continuously like beating up on the other team that badly? Like would this Packers Bears rivalry continue to go downhill? Thank you.
This is just a game. Yeah, I know the history. You know, they're like the 2 oldest teams ever. Nah, this is not a rivalry no more. Aaron Rodgers killed that like almost 6 years ago. If Aaron Rodgers is their granddaddy, Jordan Love is their daddy.
Yeah. Just passing it down through the family. All right, we have Green Bay. They are -6, like I said, at Chicago. Who are you taking in this game?
I'm taking the Green Bay Packers. I just think the Chicago Bears are still living 3 weeks ago when they lost against the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. That Hail Mary screwed them up. Haven't been the same since.
No doubt about it. So, yeah, it just seemed like this team is not very mature. Just pointing the finger at everyone, I think they're honestly getting ready for Cancun. So, yeah, they're not.
They're painting the pointed fingernail finger at everyone.
Yeah, they can care less about this game. So I'm taking Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers have a lot more to lose, so I feel like they'll come out with a little bit more energy than the Chicago Bears. Just fired the OC, so you don't know what you're going to get. The team, in my opinion, the coach lost the locker room.
Yeah.
You got players walking off the field. I know DJ Moore said
did you see
that, and the other, but no, that's inexcusable. I won't be surprised if the Green Bay Packers put up 30 on them and the Chicago Bears don't score at all. Like, I won't be surprised.
Oh, wow. Life just sometimes feels like it's come full circle and everything's working out. And this is one of those moments. I'm just happy. Happy you're here, Patrick. I, too, am taking, obviously, the Green Bay Packers to cover the -6. Easily. I think that spread is
100%.
great. It's a bit offensive. All right, next game. When you just mentioned it, Buffalo. Kansas City at Buffalo. This game is going to be the game of the week. And it's always the game of the week. It is, and Kansas City is not the favorite. Like I said, it's at Buffalo. Buffalo's -2.5. Mahomes may have Josh's number in the playoffs, but Allen is 3-1 against Pat in the regular season. We all know how these games end, usually in overtime. We'll get into that in a minute. But the Chiefs, oh my gosh, how do they keep getting away with it? That game was ridiculous. I would have live bet that game a million times and never thought that they'd block the punt or block the kick. But after listening to Get Up in the Morning, Dan Orlovsky went over how they blocked that kick, that field goal. And it wasn't just by chance. And this was a calculated thing. So the Chiefs are just not using black magic to win. But it's still stupid. It's still wild. So how, in your opinion, do the Chiefs keep doing this? Is it Mahomes? Is it just their mentality? What are they doing?
It's their mentality and it's their coach. You just go back and when you watch Kansas City Chiefs, when they're in certain situations, you can tell that they've been through it before.
Yeah.
And that goes back to a well-coached football team. We can go back 2 years ago when they played the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, and they had 13 seconds.
Yes.
And they still found a way to kick a field goal to win that game. It's like this team, it doesn't matter how it's caused to win on or how it looks in the win. They can win in any fashion. They can win in a blowout. They can win in a close game. They can win in overtime, regardless who gets the ball first. They can win if they need to block a field goal, if they need to block a punt. It doesn't matter. This team knows how to win football games. It doesn't matter the situation. They're going to find a way to get out of it.
They might break records for the amount of ways that you can win a football game this season. And I think they might go undefeated. It's crazy. You just talked about the 13 seconds, which is a great segue into this next segment. What can you do, though, Patrick, in 13 seconds? I'm going to toss.
I can do a lot in 13 seconds. I ran a 4.3.
Let's keep it. I love it. You could run that like 3 or 4 times in that.
Right.
13 seconds. Okay, I'm going to toss you a couple questions. You have 13 seconds to make your bold take or answer the questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First question. Best wide receiver you faced?
Megatron.
Worst quarterback you faced?
Worst quarterback? Damn. Sam Bradford.
Best LSU team of all time?
2019. Joe Burrow year.
Do you return shopping carts? This is an in-depth question here.
I do, because I am a dad and I am a responsible dad. So yes, I return shopping carts.
Best answer. What is your favorite guilty pleasure musical artist?
Ooh, Coco Jones.
I don't know who that is. Is that terrible?
My girls love her. And with me being a girl dad, I listen to her a lot. I'm like, I can hear that too.
Oh, we're getting deep in. Okay, Gladiator 2 or Wicked? Which movie are you more excited to watch?
Gladiator 2.
Yes, same. You were Peterson Island in the NFL. What movie would you bring to a desert island?
What movie would I bring to a desert island? I would have to go with Paid in Full.
Okay. Wow, you answered more of those in your 40 time. That took less than 13 seconds. That was impressive. All right, time to make our pick for this game. Kansas City at Buffalo. Like I said, Buffalo's -2.5. Who do you take? Who are you taking in this insane game?
It is tough to go against my homeboy.
Yeah.
So I gotta go with Patty.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. This is the one time we're going to disagree, maybe, potentially all day. I can't do it. I hate the Chiefs because I hate dynasties like that. I got to go with Buffalo. And man, I love Josh Allen. If Josh Allen wins this game, maybe he'll be in talks with Lamar as, MVP conversation. They both of them just got to win a Super Bowl in order to get over
Lamar's
that hump.
running away with that. There's no more talks about.
Lamar, Lamar might have 3. He might have 3 MVPs before 3 playoff wins. That's just ridiculous.
And that sucks. And that definitely sucks. But Lamar Jackson is the clear-cut MVP. In my opinion, there's no one close.
Well, they were talking about Jared Goff, right? You can't win an MVP when you throw 5 picks. Lamar is so miles ahead of that. It's not even funny. I love Lamar. All right, guys. Our most offensive game of the week is next, and a discussion of stadium upholstery with CeeDee Lamb right here on the offensive line. All right, guys, welcome back to the offensive line. Our next game, Houston at Dallas. Dallas is plus 7.5. But the big story this week is Micah Parsons.
You said Dallas is plus 7.5?
Plus 7.5. Is that not crazy? Against the Houston Texans, who just lost to a quarterback that threw 5 interceptions in a game.
Yeah.
Oh, my good God. The Cowboys are falling apart. Micah Parsons, the big story this week, came out on his podcast and had a lot to say, which I want to get your opinion first and foremost. Thoughts on players having a podcast during the season as a former player? Because I don't think you were allowed to back then, right?
So I think COVID, you wasn't allowed to have one pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But I think once COVID happened, you was allowed to have one. So that's kind of like when it went berserk with players having podcasts out of the yin-yang.
It just seems like it takes away from the allure of the player. Like, if you can talk to him every other day, I don't know. It doesn't. You don't wonder what's going on in the locker room. They're talking about it, which is what Micah did with Mike McCarthy. And I think in his, to play devil's advocate here, I don't think so what he said basically was, guys he feels bad for guys like Zach Martin who can't, this might be their last year, but Mike McCarthy can go out and get any job. But then he doubled down and he said, Zach's done more than, some of these guys have done more than Mike McCarthy's ever done, which I don't think he meant it in that way. And then they roasted, Rex Ryan went after him on Get Up. And then he came back out on this podcast and said, look, guys, I love Mike. I was saying this. He didn't really apologize or make an explanation for what he did mean with that, but he was talking. And it just shows you maybe how much the Cowboys have lost the locker room already. But that wasn't the only bad thing that happened to the Cowboys. The sun is also an issue. Jerry Jones is an idiot. The sun, how do you build your stadium? Well, they built it for concerts, first of all. But the sun was right in CeeDee's eyes. Did you see that? Right in his eyes. And he couldn't catch the ball in the end zone. Jerry. So the topic that we're going to talk about today, Patrick, is curtains. Should the Dallas Cowboys get some freaking curtains in their stadium? Because this is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What would you do in that situation? Would you talk to your owner or your GM? What would you say?
I definitely would not talk to my owner or my GM about that. I mean, because where the sun is setting.
Yeah,
right?
Which is what Jerry said.
When you're building the architecture, you when you're building the stadium, which way the sun is setting. So they got to do a better job of putting the sun in the visiting team's eyes.
That's just the game plan next week.
Right.
Put the sun in the other team's eyes. Hey, Miami does it. Miami roasts their other teams alive in their stadium.
So you figure out if you don't get the ball first, and the team, if you get the opportunity to defer, if you defer in this end zone, that the ball is going to flip after each quarter. So therefore, you got to map it up the right way to where the sun is going to be in the visitor's team eyes and not yours.
I love it. That was the missing piece in Dallas. That was the missing piece. Talk about they are in full rebuild mode, not their stadium, but the team itself.
They're not rebuilding that stadium.
Oh, no, it's billions of dollars. But also, so is the team. Just half of that is in Dak, who is now out for the rest of the season. What is their biggest weakness this season? Is it the run game? Is it Mike McCarthy? CeeDee trying to play wide receiver, quarterback, and running back? I don't know what is wrong with this team. I don't know where to begin with what is the worst. Yeah, what's the worst part of this
biggest
team?
Weakness is upstairs. They haven't put the team together properly. Like you knew that you're gonna have salary cap issues, or you knew the type of players that you wanted to get in the organization in order for America's team to still be America's team. and you dropped the ball.
They're not
on
even
it.
Texas's team anymore.
Like, you made no moves to give your fans hope that you're all
Jonathan
in to win,
Mingo.
in my opinion.
Jonathan Mingo for a fourth was a big trade. That was a season-changing trade.
Yeah, for a guy who haven't caught 2 passes this year.
A guy he's backing up undrafted free agents, and we think that's going to be the game changer for the Cowboys. Oh man, Dallas. All right, so I think our pick is pretty obvious in this game, but
I'm going Houston.
You don't even need a second longer. I am too as well. I'll take Houston. I'm gonna take Houston to cover the 7.5 easily. Okay, now it is time for my favorite game of the week. It is the offensive line's most offensive game of the week. This week, it's not as bad as last week's when we had the Giants and Panthers, but we have Jacksonville at Detroit. You might be thinking, well, this is not maybe the most offensive because Detroit's fun to watch. Don't forget Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, okay? Let's just keep that in the back of your mind. And also, the biggest thing that's offensive in this is Detroit is minus 13. I know Jacksonville and Doug Peterson are bad, but minus 13, holy cow.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that is embarrassing. But don't ask Doug Peterson about it because he won't explain his thought process. Did you see his press conference? He wouldn't tell the reporter. They asked him what about the Mac Jones, the last throw, what he called up, and he's like, I'm not going to explain to you guys. You wouldn't get it. Unbelievable. So opinions on this game. Doug Peterson's an idiot. Opinions on this game. Jacksonville and Mac Jones. I mean, whoever it is, Trevor Lawrence gives him a better chance to win. Mac Jones, terrible. But the Jags against Detroit, what are your quick thoughts on this game?
Quick thoughts on this game. Detroit is going to have a bounce back game. Jacksonville defense is not as good as Houston.
Yeah.
So I honestly expect Jared Goff to go ballistic on this Jacksonville defense.
Yeah.
Because they won't have anything on the offensive side to pretty much pressure the defense. So therefore, their defense is going to be on the field an awful lot. And I feel like with them being on the field a long time, they're just going to get worn down with all the trickery. Because I can guarantee you this, Ben Johnson, when he's not playing anybody in the NFC, he's pulling out all the tricks. He's going to have triple pass, double reverse. Yeah, I mean, he's bringing out all the tricks this game just on the performance that the offense had last week. So I expect the Detroit Lions to run up the scoreboard against the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially if Trevor Lawrence is not playing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Have you ever won a game? I'm just thinking about Detroit. Have you ever won a game where your quarterback's thrown 5 interceptions before?
Let me think. No. That just don't happen, Annie. Like,
I know.
To throw crazy. 5 interceptions, get sacked. I think he got sacked 3 times that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
like,
bad.
You just don't win those games. And Houston just have to do a better job of closing out games and coming into the second half with the same energy and passion and fire that they had in the first half. Because you got to go back to that game in Detroit. Yeah. They did not score a single point in the second half.
And that's happened multiple times this season. They're
right, and that was the defining moment or the defining factor in that game. If they was able to give us 6, 7, anything, they would have been in a better position on having Detroit pressing for a touchdown versus a field goal.
It's like Bill O'Brien never left. Okay, this game, Jacksonville, Detroit, minus 13. Who is your pick?
And you say we're dealing with spreads.
Yeah, you can take Jacksonville to cover.
13.5. I think that's a bit crazy.
That's crazy.
And I just said that the Detroit Lions going to run up the scoreboard. So I'm going to take a chance.
I'm
going to go with the Detroit Lions covering the 14 points.
I like it. As a member of the team, not a fan of the team in that division, I'm going to take Jacksonville to cover. Why not? That'll make things fun. Okay,
we got to disagree.
We disagree. Point, exactly. We gotta have a chance to win here. All right, it is time for the best part of the podcast, the whole entire show based on no offense. This is the time to get something off your chest. You can rant about your family or friends or football, whatever you want to talk about. You just have to start it by saying no offense, because everybody knows when you say no offense, it means you're not being offensive. I'll start, and then you can give me your rant. No offense, but it was always Matt Eberflus. You guys knew it had to be about the Chicago Bears. He has now hired 2 offensive coordinators who were terrible. And don't get me wrong, Shane Waldron was the worst. Glad he's gone. But other than that, This team is atrocious, and it all comes down to your head coach. Like we talked about, he lost the locker room. Matthew Charles Eberflus, the Ebenezer Scrooge of the Bears season. He's 0-18 on the road on Sundays. He's ruined Justin Fields. He's probably now ruined Caleb Williams. You can say what you want about the situation. Blame the O-line. Blame Shane Waldron. This is where quarterbacks go to die, and apparently coaches as well. That is my rant. Patrick,
Wow.
It is now your turn. This feels very good. It's very refreshing. It just gets it all off your chest. Yeah.
Yeah. No offense. Aaron Rodgers, where are you?
I love it already.
Because the New York Jets, we had high expectations for your team. You fire your coach, Aaron Rodgers. We all know that you wanted to be the shot caller. Now that you are the shot caller, it's not going the way that you thought it would go, and it's not going the way that the fans thought it would go. So like I said, no offense. This team is in the dumps. I want to see more leadership from Aaron Rodgers versus pointing the finger at everybody else. You're the oldest on the team. You're probably the only one that won a Super Bowl. You know what it takes. So let's stop pointing the finger at everybody else, and you get the guys in gear to finally start winning some damn games. Because it's embarrassing.
I love
what you
it.
guys are doing right now.
Said with his chest. Yeah, Aaron, get it together. What's your opinion on Aaron? Do you like, because you know, there's some history there.
Yeah, I like Aaron. I like Aaron as a quarterback, but I don't like what has been shown as of late. As far as being the oldest guy in the locker room,
yeah,
I just think he's not leaving a good impression on the younger guys, in my opinion. And I get that you're the quarterback, you can do whatever you want to do, but at the same time, everything predicates off of you. If we win, if we lose, if the ball's going a certain way, I just hate his mannerisms on the field, and I just think that trickles down to the team.
Oh yeah. He's the leader, and he's not. He doesn't act like it. Same kind of situation in Green Bay when we brought in Jordan Love, and how pissed he was about that.
Because they did the same thing when Brett Favre was there.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
At the end of the day, like, you know, like for me, people ask me all the time, like, yeah, you're out of the game. I knew that the game was going to be over at some point.
Yeah.
Like I can't wrap my whole life around this, that, and the other. Yes, the game was awesome to me. Like, I love every moment that I had an opportunity to share with the NFL. But at the end of the day, I knew that I had an expiration date. I didn't know when it was going to come, but I knew I had an expiration date. The same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Like, you got drafted with Brett Favre. You knew you wasn't coming there to step in front of Brett Favre. He's Brett Favre.
Right.
So you knew that this team is getting ready for the future. You know the Green Bay history. They did the same thing with you. Although no matter how much more years that you can play, they're going to believe in you. But the way that you went about the situation, that's what made it all nasty and a bad departure. But
I like to hear that opinion of it, because I don't know I didn't know what the opinion of Aaron was. We know as fans what it was, but as players, you don't hear it too often. Unless they go get a podcast, then, we can always hear more there. Okay, let's recap our picks today. We agreed on San Francisco to win the NFC West plus 135. Green Bay -6 at Chicago. Houston -7.5 at Dallas. Our two differences, the things we disagreed on, was Patrick picked Kansas City plus 2.5 at Buffalo and Detroit -13 versus Jacksonville. I took Buffalo -2.5 and Jacksonville plus 13. We'll see how that plays out, Patrick. I don't know. I'm not feeling the best about it, but I never do. So, all right, we will let you get back to your golf game. You got to go win back that money. I appreciate you being on the pod today.
I did.
And giving us the insight from one of the best cornerbacks in the league. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Annie.
All right, that's it for this week on the Offensive Line, guys. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch our full podcast episodes on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'll see you guys next week, and as always, Des didn't catch it.